Hello again. In this video we are going to try to save things in your script. The things we are going to try to save will be in two different scenarios. First are things that must be saved within your script, so for information about the project or about the tracks or items or envelopes. And the second things are not attached to one specific script, but are not attached to an specific project, but maybe, for example, presets for your script. So in the first part of the video, I will be showing how to use the Ext States from Reaper, where you can save things, for example, for your project. You can also make things for the installation itself. And in the second part, I will be showing how to use a JSON in Lua. Okay, so let's start learning about Ext States. What are Ext States? Okay, so Ext States are things that are stored at your RAM, maybe information about a script that a script can put. And they can also be persistent. Persistent Ext States will be stored, for example, inside your project or inside even your Reaper installation. If you go, for example, in options, show resource path, go to that famous folder, and here, if you look for Reaper slash Reaper/extstates.ini, open this, you can see that there are many scripts that already wrote information about them in your Reaper installation. For example, here you have the Cows engine, Lucasina. There are really many things that you might have used, and they store information here. So this is a really important file that you can see what are things that were stored in your Reaper installation. And things can also be stored in your project. Okay, so here is a script that I made called track snapshot. And basically what this will do is save the current state of a track in your Ext State. So for example, if I save this first track, I will save it with some name like Mayazinha. And now if I save this project and I opened the RPP file, so if I go here and drag the RPP to my VS Code, so here is the VS Code, and here is the RPP. I will just drag to here. You can see there are many things about the readable, and we're gonna talk more about this on the next video, which will be about chunks. But here at some point you will have the Ext State. Okay, so this Ext State have a section called track snapshot, and inside it you have, for example, the key config table, and you have a table that I stored. You need to store, the thing about Ext States is that you need to serialize everything to strings. So here it's a really long table containing the information, the settings information, and here you have the track snapshot table that contains the snapshots, for example, the snapshot Mayazinha, and many things about the track. Okay, so Ext States are really information stored in your project. Project Ext States. So where Ext States can be stored? So we already have seen that you can have Ext States inside your Reaper installation. We also can have, like here inside the project chunk, you also can have inside the track chunk. So this is the track about the second track named Hello World. So you can see Hello World and the name is Hello World. And inside these you can also have a section for Ext States. Inside the track you have items that also can have Ext States. You also have envelopes inside tracks that also can have Ext States. And inside items you have takes which also can have Ext States. Okay, so how you set and get Ext States? So let's go to the famous website, and if you look here for Ext State, you can see, for example, get Ext State, set Ext State, has Ext State, delete Ext State. All of these for Ext States are for Ext States for your Reaper installation. But if you have this persistent variable, so persistent, if you you are, for example, setting persistent Ext State, this Ext State won't be just in your RAM. It will also put the information at that reaper.ext state and ini file that we saw. So it will be persistent and will be open every time you open Reaper. So every time you open Reaper, it will remember the things that are stored. And if persistent are false, it will be just stored at your RAM and it will be not called again next time. So these are the Ext State functions for your Reaper installation. You also have the project Ext States, where you have a num_proj Ext State. And normally what you have in Ext State is that you define a key and a section and a key and then a value. Yeah, so, and that holds true to the Ext States for the project. So you say which project, the Ext State name and the key. But this will be a little different at the tracks and items, but we are going to try to make it a little similar. So if you go, for example, so how you put Ext States at your track, at your item, at your takes. So for this, instead of setting with a dedicated function, we have the get set info value. Sorry, not value. Info string. So look for this get set info string functions. So you have for automation items, but they don't have Ext States. But for example, with envelopes, you have a pxt, pxt 2 dots xi, and then here is a string that you decide, xyz. It's just example, but it could be like, for example, pxt, let me put just here, pxt, and I don't know, Daniel Lumertz underline track snapshot 2 dots key 1. That this could be the string that you are going to feed the function, for example. So pxt is just saying, okay, it's Ext State, and then the next part is the section of your Ext State. And I'd like to have, besides the section, I also like to put a little key, so I have multiple things inside this Ext State. So the way you use this function, for example, let me just copy here, would be something like this. Let me put this on a Lua file. So this is the Ext State, and this is the string, the parameter name. And here you would say that you are setting Ext State, and the value that you are going to set. For example, let's set hi. Remember that you need to set a string. Not if you have like a table or you have a number or a boolean, you need to convert all of these things to a string. And for that, look for serialize functions. I won't cover that, but there is enough information, and there is really a abundance of serialize functions that you can use. So okay, get set info string, and then the envelope, and the parameter name, the value, and if you are setting or getting. So let's try to set this here. So let me just copy this for as a variable, name it par name or ext name. Okay. Hi, and an envelope. Let's get selected envelope project. Okay, so this will set Ext State at the selected envelope. Okay, let's just try to run this code, but we're gonna need to have a selected envelope. And then if I try to run this, okay, to run it, and I will save this file, and I will open it again. Now going to the RPP file, you can see that inside the track chunk, you have an envelope chunk, and inside the envelope chunk, you have an Ext State section, and you have this key here equaling to this value, which is just hi. So now we can try to get it via using the same API. So instead of setting, we are getting, so false, and it should print at the string need pick. So let's show console message string need pick. And here, as we are not setting anything, you can just put nothing here, but you could put something, but it really doesn't matter. Let me just run this, and you can see it is checking what are at that key, and it found hi. Okay, so this is basic how the Ext State work. And okay, and now a really important information is when you are going to set Ext State in your project. You are going to set in your project the Ext States whenever you need information about that project. Okay, so for example, you are saving the pitch of some item, the original pitch, before you do some modification in your script. Then you need to set that information inside that project, or even better, inside that item. So if I copy the item from one project to another, that information is stored in that item. But it is really important to use these Ext States because all of this information will be together with the item you are modifying with your script or the envelope or the track. So this is when you need to use the Ext States. I have seen, for example, some scripts using JSON files or some text files to save information about a project, and that is really not great. The reason for that is, imagine that I have my project on my folder, and then you make this other text file save information about this project. But then many things can go wrong. For example, I can create a new project in that folder and rename it like a newer version. Then how the text file will work with these other files? Also, things like going to file, and clean current project directory can erase these files, as Reaper won't recognize if it is really needed for the project. So I really don't recommend creating extra files, especially at the user project folder. And if you are saving information about the project, about the track, the item, anything, save within them, not somewhere else where it can get lost. Okay, so this is a rule of thumb how you can think where you are going to save. If it's about some track, something inside the project, save within it. If it's something about how presets for your script, for example, then you can use the Ext State, the Reaper installation Ext State, but you can also use JSON, which I'm going to show later. And a really cool thing about Ext States is that you can use it to pass information between scripts if you use non-persistent Ext State. So it's a good way to pass information about between scripts. Okay, now I will just make a really small example using Ext States, and this will be for randomizing the pitch of an item, but instead of saying a minimum and a maximum range and it being randomized in that range, it will consider the original pitch of this item, save this original pitch within the item, and then use the range that I'm going to pass on top of the original pitch. So it will be a little different from our older script, because the older script that randomized pitch, it randomized between a minimum and a maximum range. So in this case that I have a item with plus 24 pitch and another one with less 24, it would not consider the original pitch, it will just put a new value there. And now we are going to randomize around these pitches. Okay, so let's create a new script. Where is my VS Code? Here. Okay, I can delete this example, and I will put here some functions that you already know. Okay, the first function is to enumerate the selected items, you already know. Map the range and random number float, we already use it in your randomize script. Just to get a randomized number, we are going to use this function that uses the map range. Okay, so we need these functions. So let's start by putting some user variables. So minimum pitch equals to less 12, equal max pitch equals to 12, and project equals to 0. And now what I'm going to say is Ext section. So this is the Ext State section string that we are going to save. So I would put something that is really unique. So my name, and then underline, and the name of the script, which is randomize pitch. And then I will have Ext key. So inside the section, I will have many keys. So it would be something like a string starting with this, and then like, I don't know, something like pitch. Something like original pitch, which are what we are going to save, right? So section, and then the key will be original. We can put spaces if you want. It doesn't matter. Original pitch. but if you are not comfortable with spaces, you can put everything together. So original pitch. Okay, so now let's make a loop for each item. For item in enum selected items, and then we say which project, do end. And after this, we're going to update the range. So first thing is get the focused take, local take equals to active take. And if there is a take, because some items don't have, then we are going to get the Ext State, or try to get the Ext State. Get set media item take info string. Okay, so get set media item take info string, and then we say which take, which parameter that we are going to change. So p ext, so it's Ext State, 2 dots, then append with ext section, 2 dots to append to ext key. Okay, so this will be basically p-ext, 2 dots, this, and then this. Then what we are going to set, we are not setting, we are getting. So we can leave this blank for now and say false, because we are not setting, we are getting local. So now pitch. So this should be the original pitch if we had saved something on that stake. So let's check if there was something on that saved. So if original pitch is different from nothing, a blank string, and then we also need the else part. So if this if it is different than nothing, we are going to say original pitch equals to number original pitch. Okay, so if there was something inside this Ext States, we are going to get it and convert it to a number that will be our original pitch. Else original pitch will equal to the current pitch. So it's the first time you are running this function, it will get the current pitch, and then it will store it as the original pitch. So we're gonna say get media item take info string. It's the same function that of this. Oh no, sorry. This will be the next line that we are going to set, the same function, but we are going to set here. So original pitch is get media item take info value. So we say the name and the parameter that we want. So it's the pitch, original pitch. And then we are going to save the original pitch here. So it's the same parameter. It's the same take. But the string need big is the original pitch, but as a string, so to string. And then we pass the number. And set new value is true because we are setting now. So, and we don't really need these values here. So this should get the original pitch if it had it saved here. But if it hadn't, then it will get the current pitch and save it for the next time you run this script. So after this, we can be ensured that we have the original pitch variable as a number, and then we can have a random number to add to it. So random is equals to random number float, then the minimal pitch, then the max pitch, and true to say we want it can be the max pitch as a random value. It won't rule it out. And then we can say new pitch will equal to random pitch plus the original pitch. Then we're gonna to set this to the take. Set media item take info value. So take parameter, it's the pitch, and then the value that we are going to set is new pitch. And this should work. Let's try. So if I select these two under randomize, oops, not. Okay, it randomizes. So this is plus 26, and this is less 35. So it randomized using their original pitch. And if I save again, it's now less 28. So it's now less 28 and plus 29. So it's okay, it's working. It's considering their original pitch. We can even print here the original pitch. Show console message, original pitch, /n, to string. I should have my print function here, but just to see this, you can see it's remembering their original pitch. And the cool thing is now that even if you copy this information is still stored with them. If I run this, you can see many still remember, all will still remember the original pitch. So these are the Ext State, where you can save information about your project, takes, tracks, items, envelopes, and also you can save information about your script using the Reaper installation Ext State, and you even can exchange information between scripts. Okay, now we are going to see how to use JSON, and really be careful when using a JSON to be not something related to a specific project, not something related to a track or an item, but really something related to the Reaper installation, the script installation itself. Okay, so why JSON? JSON is just a convenience thing to use. It's a really convenient way, but you could maybe create your own text file and make it the way that you want. I have seen some scripts that just save their information in a text file within their script installation. That's fine also. But JSON is really convenient because there is some functions already made that we can use, and it will store things for us without much trouble. So okay, first thing I will use this JSON to Lua library from RXI. You can just go here in his GitHub. It has a lot of stars, it's really famous, and go to json.lua, and I have seen many scripts using this library, and then we can just copy everything here and use this. I think I can copy this here and use this to in our script. And basically what I'm going to show is in our script that we made on the last video with the and basically what we are going to do with JSON is to make our preset menu bar. So the user will save some preset with some name, and it will store each of the information about the rate, the pitch, the volume, You can also modify this script that we made with the new pitch algorithm to store the original pitch, and maybe you can do this with all of the and maybe you can also challenge yourself to do this with all of the parameters, but I won't show here. I will just show how to create this preset now. So okay, let me open the VS Code. So here we have our famous file. And for first things first, let's create a JSON.lua inside our functions. And I will paste here all of that code that we copied from GitHub. So JSON.lua, JSON.lua. Okay. And I will save this. And I will create even another function inside, another file here inside the functions saying presets.lua. Okay, and inside this preset Lua file that we created, I will put 3 functions that we will leave on the description link for them, and I will thank JXRen that show me how to use this save JSON and load JSON, and he made, I think, these functions, and it will basically use these functions that are made here inside the JSON Lua, and it's just a more convention to use. For example, here you're going to just say save JSON, give a path that you are going to save and the variable that you are going to save. That could be anything, and then it will get the file. Oh, you don't pass the .json here on the path. And I also have seen some people doing this like path name and then doing path name JSON, and here you put something like 2 dots, another slash, but I prefer to pass all of the path, and sometimes I even prefer to myself pass the JSON here, and then I just eliminate this part and I myself include the .json when using this function, but I will leave this for now in case you want this way. But basically it's serializing the thing and making the file. And here is another one to load the file and get the thing from it. And here a third function, which is not from JXRen. I don't remember where I get this function. It's just to check if the file exists. So now we are going to make a function to save and a function to get the presets. Okay. So function save preset and a function get presets on the plural. Okay, and the get preset is really simple. It's just we'll return load JSON, so this function here, and then the path. And here we say path, just to make a convention. You could just use this load, but I like to have a function named this, but you don't really need this function. Kind of silly looking now to it, but maybe later you are going to make something else inside this get presets, then it's easier to change your script on the future, because you can just add things here. But anyway, let's write our save presets. So how it's going to work? We will have a table with all the presets we have. So first we need to load the table. So we are going to get first the table that is saved, if some are saved, and put another key to it with our newer preset, and then save this table with the older presets and the new presets all together to the file. Okay, So first thing we are going to try to get if there is already some presets. So we start with a local T and local table with will be our presets table. So T if file exists, and then we say the path. And here the difference is that this load JSON will not pass the .json, and this file exists needs the .json. So we are going to put append here .json, and we already need the path here. And we are also will be needing a name for this preset, okay? Because this is how the table T will be structured. It will be like presets table. Let's call it presets table. Will be looking like this: presets table, and then the key will be the name of the preset. So the name of the preset, and then it will have the settings table, which is just like this settings table. So position. Oops. So you have the name, and then it will be just a copy of that position, etc., etc. So position, then you have me, etc. So you probably already understand how this will going to work. So if there is a file, then, and we already need a else. So if table, then what you are going to do? We are going to load the load JSON, or you can get presets. Use the get presets function and make this equal to this. Else presets table equals to a blank table. Okay. So now we are going to save the presets. So presets table, and then the name that we are getting with the function equal to the settings, which is a global table, so it will know here. You could also pass the settings inside here, so settings and get here, but I will use the global one for our purpose is okay. And then we are going to save JSON, and we're going to save a path, and which table we're going to save. So presets table. Okay, so it resuming, what it does is try to get the presets table, and independent of the result, it will create a new key with the name of the preset. So you can't have the same presets with the same name in this structure, equal to the settings table, and then it will save this JSON. Now that we already defined our functions here, I created a presets folder within our directory of our script, and we are going to say here which path we are going to save our presets. So local presets path, and we are going to save this thing here. So this is just the current folder of our script, the same thing that we are running here, same thing. And we are saying /presets /presets. So this is the file that you want to name. You could name anything you want. So like Mayazinha, Mayaza. I will say just presets. Or presets underline file. Something like this. And then we are going to first require the functions that we create. So we need first require the JSON here. So JSON equals to require functions dot JSON. You could put dot, I think, instead of slash, but I normally don't use require. I normally use do file, but I'm trying to switch teams and going to the require team. And next we are going to require our presets file. So functions dot presets or slash presets. And now we should have the functions. Let me try to save a preset, and I will, as I already have the settings table here, I will say well, first the path presets path, and I will say default, as is the default table. And if I try to run this, it opened the script, and inside the presets folder, you can see it created a presets file, and it really looks like our settings table. So you have a key named default, which is the default. It's the name of this preset, and you have something that really looks like our default preset of default settings table, really looking like this here. So it should be working if this save preset. And later you probably will want to make a remove preset, but I will leave this as a challenge. Now let's try to make our menu for our scripts. So we are going to make the menu here so the user can load and save new presets. Okay, now let's try to make this preset menu bar. So let's open our user interface file, and inside this I'm going to go inside this, and if visible, here are part of defining the menu bar. Here, menu, begin menu, presets. And we don't need any more this placeholder. First thing that we need here is a text, a way for the user to input a new text. This will be at least how I will do is text input for the user, put text for the new preset, and a button to save preset. So let's make first the button if menu item, and we don't need these two things. Label will be just save preset. Then and so here you can make this pop, for example, a pop-up or a window, and the user sets the name. I think would be a little better user interface, but I will just put before this text input. So input text, and label will be what will be just name, I think. Path will be what is inside the preset name, and we're going to put as a global thing preset name and preset name, and this we won't need, which is did the name changes, so we don't need. But this we will need as a global variable, because if this was local, whenever we are going to the next defer loop, it wouldn't remember the name that you had. So whenever the input text is not active, the name that you gave it goes to nowhere, because it was local. So in just one frame, it would forget the name that you are putting. And I can show it later why we need it global, but let's just make it this way. We don't need the other two things. And save preset, we are just going to say, first let's check if preset name isn't just blank. Then, and let me put else. So else print name invalid. And if it's not just blank, I will save a preset. And I will put the preset path. Presets path. And I will say the preset name. And as this is a menu item, this will close this menu bar. Whenever you click a menu item, it closes. It's different than a button. I will show this in a bit. But we are not needing any more presets name. So this will be new. Or if you want, you could put as a blank thing. But I will put new. So I think this part is okay. So the part to save things, let me just demonstrate it. Let me run this. Oops, run again. So now if I open these presets, I have a place to write things. So Barbie could be the name of my presets, and I can see that my team is not really great for these. But whenever you click a button, it crashes. RIP. No, it shouldn't be working. Local path. What I did wrong. Oh, I think I passed the wrong variable there. Here, presets path. It should be presets path. Oh, this might need to be global. Yeah, I think this needs to be global. Okay, close. Okay, so remember, presets path needs to be global. So if I run this again, presets, and let's say Barbie, oops, save preset. Okay, I probably saved this. Let me open this so we have the default one. And we have our Barbie preset. And okay, so this needed to be global. And let me go back to the user interface. And here the menu bar presets. So as you can see, whenever I click the save button here, it closes the thing. And the reason that we needed the name being global is because, as you can see now, if I unfocus the text input, it stays with the name. Or click here, it won't stay with the name because I clicked the button. But if it wasn't global like this, let me show the mess that it would be. So you would type the thing right, but whenever you click it here, I will not click just the button, but as you can see, it erases because it's local and it won't remember on the next defer. So whenever you click, even that you give it a name, it would forget between clicking and saving the preset. So this is why you need it to be a global thing. Okay, and after this, we are going to add a separator with texts and label it get presets, load presets. And we are going to get every preset that we have. So local presets table equals to get presets, and then the path, which is presets path, and then just make a loop for name and value in pairs. And we are going to add a menu item inside each loop. If menu item. So for each preset, we are going to add a menu item. Then, oops. And we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. Okay, remember that the label needs to be unique. Okay, so you must think, oh, but inside of our presets table, that never will be two names equal. But the user could name it a preset, for example, save preset. And then you wouldn't have unique labels. You have this menu item with save preset and this menu item with save preset. And the user is wanting to break your interfaces. So we are going to use the name of our preset, then append to it two hashtags and say presets name, presets menu item, something like this. Just make this unique. So this is now unique names, labels to your menu item. So if the user click menu item, then we are going to say settings equals to value that is stored inside our presets table. Let's see if this works. Closing the script and running the script. Now we have our presets here. I think all of them I saved with a blank thing, so let me change to quite high values. So I will say very high values and save preset. Okay, and now you can see that I have presets here. So I have our default ones, and if I go to high values, you can see it stores all of the variables that I saved. So this is basically some information on how to use this JSON to save things about your scripts.